behind, you going through an experience and then coming out on the other side with a different mentality, a different type of training, and it actually working for you. All right, guys, so we are live. I have got my buddy Nate Tilley. Actually, he's one of my students inside the DMS 2.0. For those of you, by the way, who are watching the replay, because this is a live video, today what we're doing is we're talking about Nate's experience. He reached out to me the other day talking about how much success he's had with his agency, even during the COVID-19 crisis or pandemic. And so obviously, if I have a student that's having success and really, really killing it, I want you guys to get some feedback, or really some ideas maybe that you might not have been thinking of, or some ways for you to generate clients for your own agency. So again, I brought on Nate to talk about how he was able to generate 8 new clients in like the last week and a half. Which generated $5,000 in sales in that week and a half for that time period. And we're getting his agency up to $20K per month. Really, that's the goal. By the end of this month, it will be at $20K. As long as he keeps doing exactly what he's been doing and stays consistent, he's going to be there very quickly, and soon 50K mark, 100K mark, because we want that 6-figure per month revenue. You know what I mean? But, so guys, if you were watching the replay, feel free to ask any questions that you might have about what we're talking about how Nate was able to land these clients. We will respond in the comments. And what I would also say is, if we can get this video, let's just say, if we get this video to 100 comments, I will give away a free DMS 2.0. So benefit there for you guys to comment and ask questions. It only counts 1 comment per person. So if you leave 100 comments yourself, I'm not going to do that. But if you guys want access, that's all you have to do. We are going to give away a free one. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about Nate. And really, no, this is not a replay, Alan. This is actually live right now. But let's go ahead and talk about Nate. Nate, thanks again for joining me. I'm super excited to hear a lot about the stories that you have. And I think a lot of the people who are going to watch this video are going to be super interested to hear about your experience, because of the fact that you're one of the students that we get a lot of. And what I mean by that is, we have a lot of people who come to my program who have taken other programs in the past, who have tried it before, and they didn't get where they wanted to go. And Nate had kind of the same experience, came into my program, and has done a complete 180, and like we said earlier, is on the verge of doing $20,000 to $30,000 per month. So anyways, Nate, go ahead, do a little introduction on yourself, and tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, awesome. So thanks, Jordan. Thanks for having me, and thanks, guys, for watching this. So basically a little bit about me, so you guys have context of where I came from. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to own my own business. I knew that a desk job wasn't going to be for me, but I mean, you got to pay the bills, so got into different restaurant jobs, and like a lot of us do. And then when I was about ages 15 to 19, I started really getting in some trouble. I was like selling drugs and doing the hustle there. And, at first it was fun and games, and it felt like a real hustle. I felt like some kind of entrepreneur, I guess. And then eventually it really started to lead me quickly down a bad path, where I was looking at jail time, friends coming between us. And had some really close calls where I almost lost my life. So basically, with all that being said, I knew that I had to get away from the situation I was in. So I left that city, my hometown, and I moved 45 minutes away where I knew nobody, and I just started over with this girl that I started seeing. And at first it was hard, because I was coming off like making, so much money, like drug money, like stupid, like dirty money. And then I just had to humble myself and take a job for minimum wage, working at a restaurant. And I knew it wasn't for me. And so I flirted with drop shipping. I flirted with trying to start my own smoothie business, and kind of all over the scale. And nothing really felt right, because it didn't feel like I was offering something that was really of value. It felt like I was just chasing the shiny things. So with that, I started to transition from a restaurant, and I landed a super sweet job working for the biggest wholesaler in the Midwest, doing detailing cars. And the guy was just sweet from the get-go. I mean, he paid me well, took good care of me, didn't care if I listened to stuff. So
You know, I used to detail cars, right?
I know
Like
that's
my
one of the
business
things
before
that,
this, yeah, that's what I was doing.
and pressure washer service.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the things that connected me to you too, because I was literally detailing cars as I found your YouTube channel. So the detailing turned into like an education where I said, you know, if I'm stuck here 8 hours a day cleaning a car, I'm going to be learning a skill. And so at first I was trying to learn about like speaking and different things. And then all of a sudden an ad popped on my screen one day, and lo and behold, it's Ty Lopez targeting the whole world. Shh, Iris, shh, it's okay. Shh. Sorry guys, my dog.
It's all good.
Iris, shh.
He sees that person behind you.
Yeah, she's a good guard dog. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Shh, shh. All right, sorry guys. So back to it. So Ty Lopez popped on my screen. Didn't know who this guy was, but he had one of his students, and they're talking about doing 20K in revenue. And I listened to it, and I was like, what? Digital marketing can actually make businesses money. They don't understand how to do it. And the light bulb kind of went off. I bought the course. It was like $28, and I watched it 3 times through. And it really just taught me about nothing to do with the technical aspects and everything to do with the theory of digital marketing.
Right, which is just like, hey, if you do marketing, you can make businesses money and they'll pay you for it. Cool, you fucking told me that in your ad. Like, show me how to do it, right?
Exactly. So I was left feeling like I knew a lot. I could go and talk to business owners, but then what if one of them said yes? And so I knew that wasn't enough. I knew I had to like hone in on the skills. So I just started like looking for content on YouTube as I was detailing, same grind. And eventually I found serial entrepreneur Jordan Steen's how to do a marketing audit video that he made. And I mean, it was so in depth. Like most guys are just brushing over, they're not going into detail on what they're teaching. And I see him showing the tools, showing everything he does, and I'm like, this guy is a nerd. Like, I need to, like, this guy knows. Like, this guy is not just like, he's not saying it's easy. He's not saying it's like easy money. And that's when I started to consume Jordan's content, and that was a year and a half ago.
Right. And see, that's the thing, man. Like, that's the one thing not the one thing, that's the biggest reason, at least, as to why I started doing what I was doing, was because I noticed the fact that all these people are getting excited. But then when I went through the program myself, I was sitting there like, dude, nobody's going to know how to do anything from this. Like, you'll understand that you need to do it. You'll know the term SEO, but you won't know how to implement SEO, right? Anyway, so that's why we built that program, which is great, you know. So you went through this process of trying to learn how to do it. You felt like the information wasn't enough. You found something that kind of resonated a little bit more. So talk about what happened next. You know, you came into my content. You and I have talked for a long time now, because he joined. We have a $10 mentorship program. I think that was the first thing he joined. Then he bought my $7 beginner program, which then interested him in the DMS 2.0. So he got the full program. And ever since then, I mean, things have been complete, especially with the mentorship, because Nate showed up every single week, always had questions, and those little things were able to help him make small adjustments, which is where you're at now. So let's talk about where you're at now. You said you landed 8 new clients, generated about $5,000 in revenue. What are you doing? Like, how did you get to that point?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, to just back up a little bit. So from that point, I just started like consuming the content. I got in the mentorship program, and my detailing client turned into my detailing job turned into me selling cars, and I wasn't interested in selling cars. So I told the boss, hey, I think I can run ads that'll sell these cars. And he told me, okay, I'm not going to pay you to do it unless you sell the cars off the ads. I'll give you $500 a month. And so from then, that was my first trial period at actually getting in the dirt. And my first ad was the ugliest $500 off coupon, and we sold 3 cars off of it. I spent $100. And I didn't believe in ads then either. And then from that point, and then 8 months later, I was just consuming Jordan's content, running ads every week at all the time for the car dealership. I didn't talk to a single client. I just took what Jordan says very seriously about your education. I didn't want to be somebody that kind of knew and kind of had a system. I wanted to really perfect my system that I was using at the car dealership.
But wouldn't you say, and I don't mean to interrupt, but wouldn't you say that's really the biggest adjustment and turning point was the fact that you understood after doing it for a little bit that, okay, I can't just brush over the education. I really have to take that part seriously. And if I understand it, everything else starts to become, number one, easier, but it also starts to make sense. Like I get too many people all the time where they're like, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, did you take the time to learn how to do it? And they're like, no, I kind of looked at it. Well, that's why you don't know how to do it. So, and that's what I want you guys who are either newer to the agency world, or maybe you've been in it for a minute and you're kind of struggling to make it to that next step. The biggest difference was Nate started to take the education seriously. And that was the turning point in his ability to provide results, but also to get clients and everything else that goes along with running the agency.
Exactly. So what I'm doing now and how this all transitioned was, so I took the education super seriously. Like everything Jordan says about that, like you can't brush over that. Like I didn't want to be a generalist. I wanted to be a specialist. And so I just perfected the lead generation and automated nurturing sequence, because I'd get all these leads and then they would just get forgotten. So now I've created an entire system that when the lead comes in, it follows up automatically. The salespeople don't have to do it. And so once I had that prepared, and I was kind of ready, there came to a point when it's like, okay, like you can't keep educating forever. You got to get your feet in the water a little bit. And April 1st, with COVID happening, I actually got laid off from the dealership. They told me, we don't want you for sales anymore. You can stay on for marketing. We'll pay you as a client. And so I was like, well, I guess this is happening right now.
Right.
And I talked with Jordan in the mentorship program, and I'm like, dude, I'm laid off now. And he's like, well, are you in DMS 2.0? And I was like, not yet. And he's like, well, I'll give you a 3-day coupon. It's going to expire for, like a $75 off or something. And I wasn't in the position to invest that at all. And because I was thinking about everything else. But I took the risk and did it anyways, and I'm so glad I did.
You're like the second person, at least, that I've directly talked to. Derek Bumper was another one, where he spent his last paycheck that he had, where it was supposed to go to rent, on the exact same thing. And as soon as he did, like, that's the thing. It's cool to see. Like, obviously, nobody wants to go through that experience because it is stressful, but it's cool to see what happens when somebody's back gets put against the wall. Right? These people, it's always the people who have like that, this is my last little bit of money. Like I either make it or I break it, I do or die right now. Those people are always the ones who like, they come through super successful because they have no other choice, which is really interesting to me.
Exactly. And I had to make it, and I knew I had to make it. I had rent bills, like everything stacking up. And so, yeah, I bought the course, and it really solidified the things that I'd already been kind of doing, but like put them into like a really solid orchestrated system that I could use to where like when I was running a testing campaign, I wasn't stressed about it. So how I got to get all the clients is in the last year and a half, just because I wasn't talking to clients, that doesn't mean I wasn't talking to marketers. If somebody got on and wanted to do if they marketed a free strategy call to me, I was hopping on and meeting them and making sure they remembered my name. If I saw somebody, if I met somebody and they were in digital marketing, I made sure to get their Instagram. And that's actually how I landed 5 out of the 8 clients that I have right now. So I met this guy in Whole Foods in Vegas. Random conversation. I overheard him talking about digital marketing, and I butted in, which is like kind of rude. And I was like, oh, you do digital marketing? That's super cool, man. Can I follow your Instagram? I'm from South Dakota, and they don't have a lot of digital marketers out there. So I follow the guy's Instagram. I go back to South Dakota, where I'm from, and I call the guy, and we talk. And, he's been running an agency for years. And, so from the point from there, and during the 8 months, that's when I like had my client. But I was always talking to this guy, and I was showing him my results and stuff. And then when I got laid off, I told him like, hey man, is there anything you need some fulfillment done for some Facebook ads? And he said, you know what? Actually, I have a group of agency owners that are ready to sell packages to clients. We just need fulfillment for lead generation and automated nurturing, which is what I've been specialized in for the last year. So when I told him we were good to go, he gave me the green light and just passed over 5 clients to do the fulfillment for. So I don't have to talk to these clients. I don't have to meet these clients. I just do the work and send over the ad reports, and that's it. So
Right.
it's been, you know, just like Jordan says, like networking, and meeting people, and not being afraid to, do a job as a freelancer. Like, it doesn't always have to be the big fish client.
Right. And that's a big thing that people don't understand when they're getting into this. So first off, I want to talk about the fact that he said networking, guys. And this is the biggest thing that I've been trying to tell people. Like, yes, you can do cold calling, cold emailing, all of that, but it's so much more difficult versus building meaningful relationships with people and utilizing that relationship to benefit both people, right? Making it mutually beneficial. And so that's the thing. But notice Nate didn't just send him a message and say, hey, I do marketing, and then leave it at that. He built a relationship. He nurtured the relationship, kept in communication. And guys, I'm not saying you have to message these people every day, be like, hey, how was your day? That's not what they want either. They're gonna hate you, honestly, if you do something like that. But it's small things like just, once a week, not even once a week, once every 2 weeks, a month, where you're just sending a communication saying, hey, something interesting, like, hey, did you see this update with Facebook ads? It's pretty crazy. Like, hey, coronavirus is going on right now. Did you know ad costs are like half the cost right now because of the fact that there aren't as many advertisers spending? Small stuff like that to build the relationship. But the cool thing is, so we're also going to talk about here in a second, Nate has also generated clients from running ad campaigns. He's taken the information he learned in my course and programs about running ad campaigns to generate other leads for him, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it's super interesting to see how that works, man, because like networking is what I live and breathe for, because I like connecting with people. And so it makes it easy for me to build relationships and utilize those relationships to benefit myself and the person I'm building that relationship with. But that's really interesting. So this guy that you met randomly basically gave you 5 new clients that you really had to do hardly any work for, which is amazing. So first lesson to you guys who are watching, start meeting people, start talking to business owners, start going to networking events. One of my employees, Ian, we've transitioned him since Corona's happened. He's now taking over a lot of the sales aspect of the agency side. So now he's going to 2 to 3 networking events per week, plus he's using some other automated lead gen strategies. But networking and meeting people is one of the best ways to actually build your agency and to get new clients. So that's okay. So before we move on to how you actually acquired those other 3 clients, because I do want you to talk about that. What types of services are you, like, what are you providing for these clients that he brought you?
Yeah, so I just do Facebook ad and Instagram ad lead gen fulfillment. So a couple different objectives. It could be just getting the lead, name, email, phone, and then I have an automated sequence that nurtures the lead and notifies the client. But then some people, they want their ebook to be downloaded, so then I'll just do conversions. But basically, it's whatever the client needs. And since I'm doing like white label fulfillment, I can only do as much as they give me. So they send me an Excel sheet that's got all the onboarding information. This is another key detail that I learned from Jordan is, if you guys want to get clients but you don't have a standard operating procedure in place for what to do with those clients, then you're definitely going to fail. So that's one thing. Before any of this, right when I got laid off, I made myself a Asana document that has literally everything I need to do for my lead generation service, from onboarding and getting access all the way down to getting the creatives and launching the campaign and scaling it.
Right.
And I had that in place before I took any clients.
And I do want to point out, not to talk badly on Nate, but actually it's more to his credit, he didn't have those procedures in place. I remember that mentorship call where he was sitting there saying, hey, Jordan, I'm ready to go get clients. I want to do this. And then I said, okay, cool. What do your processes look like? He said, Oh, well, I don't have those completely built yet. I was like, all right, then you're not ready. He took that next week to build out those processes that he was just talking to you guys about. And now when he gets a client, it's smooth. It doesn't take, like, you're not stressed. You don't feel like you're running around trying to figure everything out. Like, it's actually ready to go and it's being developed. And as long as you have the steps in place and the people in place to get that job done, you're just sitting there collecting revenue and making new clients come in. And it's easy. Everybody's happy. And that is a big point, guys, that Nate just made. The reason why he was able to do this so successfully is because those procedures are in place, which is what we stress so much in my program. But, okay, cool. So, yeah, you got those clients. You're basically, so essentially, guys, to kind of fill you in on what he's doing is running Facebook and Instagram ads to a lead form of some kind where they're, setting an appointment maybe, or to a white paper or ebook where they can download it and get some information, right? From there, they're entered into a CRM, which I taught Nate about this CRM. We showed him a little bit about how it works. It's the most affordable one. It's amazing, and I'm sure Nate would tell you, like, for the cost you're going to spend on this CRM, yeah, you won't get a better deal. And then he took basically those leads that are coming in, and he's developed a follow-up sequence that goes out to those contacts basically saying, hey, do you want to set an appointment to talk about more information, or would you like to receive some more, whatever, right? But it's as simple as that. Having not only the ads running, but the follow-up process in place, it makes it super easy for those customers to want to buy. Why? Because they don't have to do anything. All they have to do is when that appointment's set, show up to the appointment and close the deal. That's it, right? So that's really, really cool. So, all right, let's kind of transition here. Did you want to bring up any other points? No, about that specific? Okay, cool. So let's transition, because Nate has some other clients that he's generated by not doing networking. He's actually taken what he's learned. Like, this is what blows my mind, is people who join these programs but then only want to focus all their time on cold outreach. Like, I completely get that, but if you can run ads for yourself, it automates the process, meaning you can spend more time doing things that actually matter to your business, like going to proposal meetings instead of trying to find people who just want to set the first meeting with you, right? So let's talk about that. And I know you said you have some stuff you can screen share and show these guys that you've been using, so we'll also go through that. But first, let's talk about what you did to generate those other clients that you have.
Yeah, so one of them is a local chiropractor that I've known for since I moved up to this town. They actually sponsored me in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a competitive athlete for that. That's kind of been like chip on my shoulder, got something to prove, so I go and try to choke people out. And that's kind of a separate thing, but he sponsored me, and he took care of me when I was going to the World Championship back in 2019 in December. And side note, while we're talking about jiu-jitsu, I actually dropped a video, used Jordan's branding SEO like title where you just find titles that are basically really popular and then name it something similar, and dropped a jiu-jitsu video that went viral, 1.2 million views in 8 months. It's called 135-pound white belt versus 200-pound blue belt, or blue belt versus white belt. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a side note, but that was also just thanks to Jordan and all his like really, really good techniques.
I appreciate that. I do. Yeah, I do. That's awesome, man. It's really cool to see. It's cool to see other guys go out there, and you didn't even want to really be a YouTuber. You were just like, yo, let's do some testing. Let's have some fun with it. I have this cool video, and we'll put it up there. And 8 months later, you've got a video that has more views on it than any video I've ever made. Like, I think the biggest one I have is like 300K. But yours is a very open market, much larger audience, so that makes sense. But it's impressive nonetheless. Like, to be able to go in there, create a video, and get 1.2 million views. Wasn't that like your first or second video that you uploaded? I know it was one of the very, very first sets of videos.
It was my first one that ever cleared over 2,000. I had like videos with like 200 views before that. But basically, I just like made a lot of like micro content and put it on every social media that pushed it all towards that YouTube.
Right.
And then used a good title, and YouTube did the work. It was weird. It came in floods.
Yep. Yeah. But anyways, no, it's a really interesting story. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. I wanted to throw that in there also. But anyways, to flip back to the chiropractor. So this chiropractor I know, He's a good friend of mine, knows nothing about digital marketing or the internet or anything like that. But he just paid a local digital marketing agency $2,500 for a 3-minute video business card. And they shot the video. It's a great video. They just handed it over to him and they said, here you go. There's no distribution. So they just posted it on their Facebook, and I saw it got like 8 likes, and then it was just pushed down to the feed. So I thought, like, dude, you know what? I can just walk up in there and offer this guy to get this video distributed for him. And if it leads to something, great. If it doesn't, I'm happy that I can use my skills to help him. So I just scheduled an appointment with him, and I went up in there and I asked him how his video is doing. And he told me, he's like, it's not good, man. Spent a lot of money and the video is not getting the reach that it needs to. And I was like, well, you know, how about I help you distribute it? You know, I'll set it up for you. You just cover ad costs, and we'll go from there. And so he's like, really? You want to do that? And I'm like, sure. And he's like, are you just going to try to, you know, just trying to sell me into your services? And I'm like, no, genuinely no. Like your calendar seems full. If I can help you, great. But
and I'm not asking you for anything. I told you, I'm just gonna run the video.
Yeah, and so it's actually funny. So I helped him get the pixel installed on his website, and we ran the video for a 2-week campaign. And they just had like a flood of people calling and scheduling appointments, and like their calendar was already full. So he asked me, he's like, can we just keep this video running? And I was like, of course. And so right now I'm just doing like what I consider my small business branding package, where I'm not actually trying to get them client acquisition, but I'm just making them look really good on social. And he's also working to help me get referrals, super good person in the community. So that's a client for me where it's not a high gross per month, but it takes me 20 minutes or less to set up. And
you're getting experience and testimonials from it, which are two super important things to have, because what do customers ask when you go in? Well, what's your portfolio like? What experience do you have? So without that, it makes it very hard to sell, right? But with that, and see, here's the thing, guys. He's not doing, people always ask me, Jordan, should I run everybody's marketing for free in the beginning? No, because that's a waste of time. But if you can get a situation like Nate has, where they have a video already, they just need exposure, and it takes you 20 minutes to take a video, write 3 different sets of copy for the video, come up with maybe 3 to 4 different audiences to test cold, and then boom, you're running an ad, they're happy, you're getting testimonials. It's a win-win for everybody, because now I can sell that testimonial to any other potential clients, right?
Exactly. So so that's one of them, and then one of my other clients that I just started running a campaign for my own agency that just is basically dynamic creative. I use a lot of dynamic creative. I'll hop in my ads manager and show you guys what that looks like here in a second. But basically, I ran an ad campaign for my own agency that just drove traffic to the website. Normally, this isn't advised, but I wanted to season the pixel so then I could create a custom audience and then create a lookalike. And I targeted business owners, so that way I can kind of start to build an audience that I can use as kind of a base. So I did that, not even trying to get clients. And this guy just happened to see my ad. And normally I target, this is important, this is kind of a detail of running ads, if you know. Normally I target people who live in this location only, but for this time I just did people who live or are recently in this location, because I figured if a business owner is out here traveling, that could be cool. And that's actually exactly what happened. So this guy was traveling out through South Dakota and saw my ad when he was staying at his hotel, that it's like need leads. And, you know, and so he clicked on it. He booked a strategy call with me. I got on with him and I told him, I was like, you know, look, man, he sells internet, TV, phone, door to door, right? And so how well is door to door sales working right now? Not probably the best with COVID and everything happening.
Right.
So he needed to get online, and he's got a big budget and everything. And so I told him, sure, you know, let's get on this project. And this has been the biggest project that I've undertaken on my own. And we just launched ads yesterday, and I got yesterday 7 leads for $1.68 a piece, and he sold 2 installs off that for an average profit of like 250 or something. I don't really know. I do my part and he can do his.
But
But
regardless, you're making him well over what he was. Well, his return on ad spend is already what 15 to 20 times higher than what it was before Nate started running his ads. So really,
yeah,
really a awesome turnaround for results there.
off point one of our budget.
Right, right. You
Yeah.
still got another 90% to spend. So this guy is clearly, and if you can, like, your conversion right now is basically, you said you had 7 set and what, 2 to 3 came?
Two installs.
Yeah, so right there, I mean, that's a 50%, almost 50% conversion. We'll say 40%. If you can do that with the rest of the budget, you're going to make him 5 to 7 grand in sales. He's going to be like, yo, wait, you just made me 5 to 7 grand off of what, $1,000 spend, you said?
Yep. Yep.
He's going to take that budget and say, okay, let's multiply that times 4 and see what we can do, right?
Yep. But guys, I also want you to know that I wasn't afraid to start this campaign. Like, I was a little bit nervous because I hadn't done it in this industry before. But if you understand like some basic principles, not basic, but some a little bit more advanced principles of writing copy, creative, of creating the ads, then my personal opinion is that you can do it in a lot of different niches that have similar sales processes.
Right.
So
So Nate's
yeah,
going to share his screen. I think
yeah.
that's what you're getting ready to do. So yeah, if you want to go ahead, take over, share your screen, and let's show these guys a little bit about what you've been doing to get results for clients. But also, again, same method, same strategy being used for your agency to generate new leads. So
Exactly.
that's what's really interesting about all this.
Exactly. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Oh, it said host disabled attendee. Screen sharing there, Jordan.
Hang on one sec.
I'm gonna show you guys my first ever ad that I ran, and you're gonna see how ugly it is.
Ah,
And
okay. I got you. Who can start sharing when someone else? Okay, we're just gonna do that. All right, you should be able to now.
okay, cool. So I'm gonna show you guys a couple things. All right, you can see my screen, right?
Yep, you're all good.
Okay. Look at this ad. Tell me this isn't the ugliest ad you've ever seen. I mean,
Well, the thing is, though, like, look, ugly and effective are two different things. The reason why I can tell this ad's doing well is because it's simple. The copy is very, or not the copy, the creative is very clear. It's a dealership trying to sell a car. It's got the price on there. And then the copy says, offer ends in less than 2 weeks, locally owned. So all of the benefits, top dollar paid for trades, online credit application, all of the details that somebody looking for a car would want to know. So yes, it's maybe not the most pretty ad in the world, but number one, it's dynamic, like you mentioned, which I'll let you explain that to everybody watching. But also number two, it's simple, which makes it easy for what people kind of get confused is they think they're trying to create an ad like Ty Lopez would do or like Billie Jean would do, where it's got a 400-page story to go along with it. Every industry is different and should be taken that way. You don't write an ad like the marketing gurus are doing that are trying to tell a story that entices you to take that next step. It's a little bit different in that regard. But anyways, go back to what you were saying.
yeah. So this was the first ad I ever ran. Didn't really know what I was doing, and we ran this for $100, and we ended up selling 3 cars for an average profit of $1,500 a piece. So if you do the math on that, and I still didn't think Facebook ads were like, I still wasn't convinced. It took me 8 months from here to now to be confident enough to actually bring this to other business owners. But since then, my style's got a little bit cleaner, a little bit neater. I'll show you guys a couple. Let me find a good one here. So like we run these like offers and just really simple. All these are dynamic creative. So like, let me make sure the sound's off here. So like I always show happy customers and then the vehicles. I mean, it's pretty straightforward what I've figured out how to do, and this has worked month after month. And I use kind of a lot of techniques that are all kind of compiled together. This is called like an instant experience ad.
Right.
Anytime Facebook comes out with something new, you definitely want to test it out. And so this has been giving us great results for just what we've been doing as far as getting the inventory out there. So yeah, those are a couple of like the ads that I started out running for like car dealerships, messenger bot, different stuff like that. But now let me show you guys what I'm on these days. So first I'll show you what the ads actually look like. Okay. So I wonder if it'll just let me. Here we go. Boom. It's kind of small. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, looks fine.
Okay, so now these are the kinds of ads I'm running for my newest client, and this is just like dynamic creative. So you throw 10 different pieces of creative in there, 5 different headlines, 5 different copies. I had a virtual assistant in the Philippines make me these nice little graphics here, and it's, I mean,
Isn't it cool to see yourself progress though? Like that's what I love about watching students kind of grow in this journey is like you said, you feel like in the beginning your ads just like ugly, and then you start to learn a little more, you start to experience things, you start to, get your own ideas about how ads work, and you're sitting through Facebook literally just scrolling, looking at every single ad, like why did they do this? Why did they write this? And then just see the change in your own style, which is it's just really cool to me, like to see that change come through and it actually be effective as well. So props to you, dude. You're doing an amazing job, and I can't wait to see where you're going to be at 6 months from now.
I know it. So yeah, guys, I mean, I'll show you what results we're getting from that. This is another one I'm doing for one of my clients that I've never met. Just run him to a free training. Like, he just wanted me to use a bunch of pictures of him. Cool. I do what he needs.
Right.
This is a really cool one that I just landed out of nowhere. So now I have international experience because I'm working for a Chinese freight forwarding company that I've never met. I'll never talk to them, but I'm getting them killer results. So they're going to stay on month after month.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this one is a really fun one. And I'm using the same strategy with all these guys. Dynamic creative, lead gen, essentially it. If I need to throw a messenger bot in there, I will.
So for the freight company, I'm just curious, how are you're dynamic creative for the freight company? They pretty much sell one service. How would that work?
Yeah, so I offer just that one service, just a free quote, but I just say it in a bunch of different ways. I'll look at that one real quick.
So basically what you mean by your dynamic ad sets is that the different reasons as to why someone might buy is what you're using as the dynamic aspect of it, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we're targeting 5 different audiences, some broad, some more narrowed down, and then in each one we have 10. So boom. Okay, so I load in all these different pictures, and then I load in all these different copies. And so each one, so if we go to view more variations, so it's just going to shuffle these up and find what's going to work best. And once it starts to optimize it, then it just starts figuring out which works best and continues to show that. So our ads started out about $10 a lead, and now you'll see that we're down to
$4.07 is what it.
Yeah, about 6 overall, about under $7.
Right.
And
and for a freight forwarder, guys, that's nothing. A freight forwarder is going to make a shit ton per client. So really, I mean, if you were advertising on Google or doing PPC, your average cost per lead was probably somewhere around $20 to $30. Like industry average is probably $20 to $30 per lead. So to get $6, $7 leads, that client's got to be happy.
Oh, yeah, I'm super stoked for them too. So this is my big campaign, guys. So we haven't even launched all our ad sets. I did like a soft launch with one campaign. Same thing, dynamic creative, but this one, we got a little bit more detailed with the client. I wanted to make sure I did a good job. So I had him give me 3 customer avatars that he thinks he sells the most to. And he summed it up to being his older couple, gamers, or family. So I created audiences around that. And then we've got a couple broad audiences in there. These have been reviewing forever, but that's just the way it goes.
What's forever?
24 hours.
Oh, okay. Sometimes it does take that, especially with more corporate style ads. Yeah, but if it goes more than 48, make sure to reach out and do a manual submission or a manual review submission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. So those ads that I was showing you guys, we just launched them. We haven't even spent, or we've spent $12.99, got 7 leads for $1.86 a pop, and those are all in the pipeline. Just, in all of this is really great because all of this is so easy to track with my system that I have built out here. So like when a lead comes in on Facebook,
Which guys, just so you guys understand the transition here, what he was first showing you is the lead gen strategy using Facebook ads. Now, what happens when we get the lead? It goes into a CRM, which this is the product we use. If you guys want to know about this CRM, you can reach out to me or leave a comment and we will talk to you about that. But he's using this CRM to then do automated follow-up. So let's talk about automated follow-up.
Yeah, so I've got it set out right now. So when a new lead comes in, we only send it to them on business hours.
Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 type stuff, right?
Exactly. So when a new lead comes in right away, I'm just going to greet them, hey, whatever your name is, we got your inquiry that you're interested in saving money on your current internet TV, whatever.
And notice, guys, that was a text message. The cool part, like this is why we love this software so much. We're doing automated text messages and emails because text messages get like a 95% open rate, like insane open rates. And these are all the things that you can do right here. You can do Messenger on Facebook, email. You can do voicemail drops, like where you do pre-recorded voicemails and it calls them and then lands the voicemail in their voicemail box. Really, really great CRM that I can talk to you guys about. Are you guys, and actually what I should do is this. Hang on one sec. Nate, don't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure people have access to this CRM if they'd like it. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm actually taking the Facebook group that I have. If you guys are not in this group, there's the link in the YouTube chat right there. Make sure to go join that group. And what you can do is you can leave a comment inside that group asking to get access to the CRM that we're showing you guys, and I will send you a special link that you can use to get grandfathered in at the price that we're paying too. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, guys, hop on with that link right now, and just don't doubt. Just do it. Literally, just like I just invested in DMS 2.0 when I didn't have the funds, and now I'm set to make 20K this month. Just trust Jordan. Just get on the CRM and get really good at it. And because this is going to take over HubSpot, ClickFunnels, all of it.
And the other thing is, guys, this will replace ClickFunnels. It'll replace Calendly. It'll replace any other CRM that you're trying to use. Like right here, you can see Kajabi. Kajabi maybe not.
They got memberships now, bro.
Yeah, but it wouldn't host a video training platform. That's what Kajabi's good at. Like they are built to host video training. Anyways, they have tons of features. They even have white labeling now if that's something you wanted to use them for as far as like actual marketing services. They do SEO, Facebook ads, Google ads, but they're an amazing CRM. And here's the real benefit, guys. Two real big benefits. Number one, if you pay for the right package, you can white label. So this is a massive benefit to all of his clients, and why Nate's doing really well at selling is because when clients get leads, they have a hard time following up. They don't have a process in place. They don't have, extensively built CRMs like we do as marketers. And that's an added benefit that he's telling these people they get. When they join, he's going to do the follow-up for them so they can just focus on the meeting. The great part about this is if he gets a new client in the same industry, he just duplicates the automation follow-up, and it's already done. He's doing no extra work. Benefit number two is he can also use this for his own agency. Like that's what we're using to do automated follow-up. So that way, number one, we don't forget about potential leads, but also number two, as soon as they're submitting information, they're getting responses back from us instantly. So we don't let people fall through the gaps. So really, really great CRM, guys. If you want to check that out, I definitely recommend joining the group. And actually what I'll also do is one more thing, just to make it
super funnel, just to show you something too that you can do. This funnel was all made in this platform. I paid a VA in the Philippines $50 to make me this funnel.
Yep,
And
just like ClickFunnels, guys. Like, or really, what we should be saying is this landing page. This landing page was built using this CRM that we're talking about, and like seriously, it's just as good as using ClickFunnels, and you don't have to spend that extra $200 to $300 per month on all the. It combines a lot of the softwares you're using, so you're saving. We're actually about to start. Like, most people won't believe this probably because I've always used it, but we're in the process now of migrating away from ActiveCampaign, and we're just going to use Go High Level because it'll save us an extra $500 a month. And then I'm sure, like, once we can figure out how to get checkout pages on through Go High Level, we'll probably get rid of ClickFunnels too, because there's no point in spending that money on those software if I can do it all in this one software.
Do they not have checkout through the Stripe integration now?
It's so I haven't seen that new update yet, so we'll have to take a look at it. I know when we first they do. All right, Ted's giving me the thumbs up saying they do. So we'll probably end up switching away from ClickFunnels here soon enough, because again, we can build all our landing pages inside of this platform, and we can put our checkout through there as well. Guys, just so if you're watching right now, I actually just put a link inside of the chat. That link is for this CRM that we're talking about right now that we're going through. So make sure to click that link if you want to get access to it. And again, you're going to be grandfathered in at the price that it's at. This is a newer CRM company, so their prices are super affordable right now so they can grow their base audience, which means if you get them right now, you're not going to have to pay the thousands of dollars that you will have to pay when they start to increase their price. So I definitely recommend getting on board now. But anyways, so Nate, what are you showing us here?
Yeah, so one last thing I want to show you guys, just to show you that, like, this is a marathon and not a sprint. Like, for 9 months, I didn't talk to clients. I didn't take myself seriously. I maybe had struggled with a little bit of, like, imposter syndrome, and you might too. But know that it's a process that takes a lot of time. So check this out. This is from September 1st, when I first started running ads, until today. For this one account that I started out, we spent $4K on ad spend, and with that, I've been able to sell 35 cars at about $2,500 gross profit per car. So if you do the math on
well over $4,100 in spend. Like, that's what, probably close to $100,000, $200,000, or not 200, but like 125,000.
Yep. And some of them were less money, and some it kind of averages out, but close to at least 100 G's off of 4K in ad spend.
And there's not a company out there that would not be happy with that return. That is an insane return. It is the car industry, so those returns are not normal for every other industry, but you can still get 3, 5 times, 10 times ROAS, which is Nate's doing like 20 ROAS on that campaign. So that's the thing, guys. It is totally possible, but I think Nate would tell you guys the biggest attribution or the biggest reason why he's been able to do this is because of the seriousness that he put into his education and understanding how all of these different services work together, how to run ads, what businesses want. That's the other thing. He understands that businesses want someone that's going to follow up and make sure that these appointments get set for them. They just want that to already be done.
Exactly. And that's pretty much, I mean, you guys have seen, like, you know, what I'm working, and, you know, some of it's choppy, some of it's not always beautiful, but I mean, you know, like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. It takes somebody that's willing to stick the course and follow and find a good mentor. And really, if I didn't have Jordan, you know, if I wouldn't have found Jordan, if I would have still been on, you know, Ty Lopez and everything, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, because it's just like I was looking at the philosophy of digital marketing and the idea of it, and that's what I fell in love with, but I didn't know the actual practical application until I started to follow his content. And then I didn't even take it very seriously until I got laid off and had my back against the wall. And then I realized that I could have probably quit my job and started doing this that 8 months before, but now going into it, I have no limitations on what I can do.
And now you're confident too. Now you feel confident in your ability. That is the biggest thing that comes from the education. that most people don't understand is more important than any of the other stuff is if you don't feel confident in doing it, when you go into sell, you're not going to land the deal because you don't look confident. When you go in to run the campaign, you're not going to have success. Why? Because you're not confident in your own abilities. When you go to hire people, like it lays over into every aspect of running this business. Confidence in your ability is what is going to push you forward. Without it, you're going to procrastinate. You're going to be like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. You're going to feel that imposter syndrome, right? But again, you take the system, you take the education seriously, you really put time and effort into it. And really the biggest thing I think is understanding that this is not a get rich quick scheme. Even though Tai Lopez made it seem like this whole, oh, you're going to be making fucking $100,000 a month in 3 months. No. I would be willing to I'd put $1,000 of my own money on the fact that 99% of people who go through any type of program, whether it's mine, Tai Lopez, Billie Jean, all these other guys, don't have that kind of success in the first 2 to 3 months. It's just not feasible in 99% of cases.
Right. And one thing that I realized going through this is like, Iris.
She don't like people. She don't like people stepping on dad's property. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. Hey, come here. You guys gotta see her now.
Oh, it's a cute puppy.
But yeah, what I was gonna say is one thing I realized with this guys too is if you're like in this and you're just kind of starting out, like you can stay in your own lane with this. Like if you're really inclined to video, like you can just be a video guy that does freelance videos for a digital agency. Like you don't have to be the man in the chair that does all the creative elements. Like there's, a team behind every good project. So like that's the biggest thing that I realized from following Jordan was that like there's opportunity all across the scale, no matter what your personality type is, no matter what your skill set is. You can get into this and find yourself a job if you're willing to get really specialized at a high income skill.
Yep. And that's a conversation that I've had with a lot of students and a lot of viewers, guys, and I want you guys to really understand what Nate just said. What he's saying is, I teach you everything about digital marketing and the different concepts that surround digital marketing in my program, and I teach you my method to building my agency. But you don't have to offer every single service just because I offer it or tell you that I offer it. Nate literally started with, we're going to do lead gen using social media, and then we're going to do the leads that we generate, we're going to follow up with them using a CRM and an automated sequence to set the appointment. From there, it's off of his plate. It's not his responsibility once the appointment's set, right? Other than, let's say they missed an appointment, having that rescheduling sequence going so that way they can reschedule the appointment. But that's really it. Like Nate has nothing to do with it past that point. So what is he offering? Like 2, really 3 services if you consider all the copywriting that he's doing for the messaging, but he's offering like 2 to 3 things. And it's simple. He has a method. He has an operating procedure that is standardized throughout his company. So that way it's simple enough to replicate over and over and over again and provide results for those clients that he's managing for.
Right. And just so you guys know what I'm on now, like, so because I want Jordan to know this too, like, so I realized that I could keep doing these like little jobs here and there and for like all these different niches. But you know what? I know the skills I can get with dealerships. Right. I know the money that's there. And so I've actually created a 60-day launch program for dealerships. That's going to be a high ticket program, $4,800. And I'm just going to focus on selling that one thing, and it's going to keep the pipeline full. And that's going to be what I'm going to use to build my actual revenue stream in my business. And then I'm going to focus a lot on helping business owners learn what they can to DIY and just kind of build the brand with it and have fun with it and enjoy being able to help somebody, because I figured out how to keep the pipeline full of leads and how to value my services. So that's where I'm taking this now.
And that's actually a cool little thing to do, guys. What he's saying is he's going to do a high ticket offering where he basically, kind of like my Done With You agency program where, we build your agency with you. He's kind of going to do the same thing for auto sales reps where they pay him a one-time fee. They work together to get their marketing in place, then they manage it. The other side of this is those guys who, even though they pay that $4,800 and they get something set up for them to manage themselves, there's going to be some of those guys who are like, well, shit, it's still not working the way you can make it work. So Nate, can I now pay you monthly for you to do that for me? So it's not only generating a one-time revenue stream of people who want to learn how to do it, but then those guys who can't do it or just find out they don't have the time to do it themselves, they're going to hit up Nate to say, yo, make this work for me like you do for all those other guys. So really, really cool, interesting system to put together there. But guys, the point really of that is to show you, you don't have to do exactly what everybody else is trying to do. You don't have to do exactly what I'm trying to teach you guys. The greatest part about the program that I have put together is the fact that you can use it to really build any type of online business that you want. If you're smart about it, you know that you can take that same information and use it to build a YouTube channel if you want. If you wanted to get into drop shipping or e-commerce, you can take that program, even though it's about starting an agency, and use the content inside to help market and build that drop shipping or e-commerce brand that you want to build. But Nate, we are coming up on an hour, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I know you got a bunch of clients that you got to go start working on today. So I'm going to let you get out of here, but dude, really thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to explain your story to all of these viewers. We had like 40 people on at one point, so for a live stream, that's really, really good. So a lot of people obviously wanted to hear your story and see what you were doing. But again, thank you for coming on. And obviously, I know you're going to keep me in the loop about everything going on. So I'm excited to see where your agency goes and how it grows here in the near future.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for starting this program where you help people to learn the nitty gritty and not just the overview.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, man, hats off to you. Appreciate it. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anybody that was watching this, I hope that it gave you some value. And yeah, thanks for having me, Jordan.
And the last thing I'll say before we get off, guys, I did mention if we can get this video to 100 comments, we're going to do a free giveaway of the DMS 2.0. We'll give one away. Also, everybody who is watching this video right now, if you are not currently enrolled in the Digital Marketing School 2.0, if you join that group that I mentioned earlier, which is still in the chat, www.facebook.com/group/serial entrepreneur, if you go join that group and leave a message, I will give everybody who's on this call right now $100 off the Digital Marketing School 2.0. It's usually $549, so right now I will give it to you guys for $449. This deal is only going to last for the next 3 days, so if you don't get it in the next 3 days, I'm sorry, but if you want to get in the best program out there, I'm telling you, it's the best program for digital marketing and starting an agency, and we've got tons of I haven't really brought this out too much yet, but guys, I have another student, Kayla Haley. You guys have probably heard of her. Last month, she did $350,000 in revenue. $350,000 in revenue. She was one of the first students to come to my program. Her and I have done tons of training together. I'm actually talking to her at 1 o'clock today. And we're going to kind of share what she's been able to do. She wants to actually put together some training for you guys that's going to run through my program that'll teach you how she's been able to generate this kind of revenue. But guys, it's all possible. And both of these people that I'm talking, Nate and Kayla, have done all of this during the COVID pandemic. All right, so it's not impossible to grow your business. I literally was on a call for the Done With You agency program earlier today with a guy who was like, oh, well, is it going to work? And I told him, Nate, about your story and what's been going on. I also told him about Kayla's. He's like, oh, okay. So it really comes down to your drive and your level of determination when it comes to building this business and making something successful of yourself. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, everybody. There is going to be a replay, so make sure you stay tuned. It'll probably be up in a couple hours since this was an hour-long video. So if you want to watch the replay, come check back. It will be on the channel. But outside of that, again, thank you, Nate. Super excited to see what happens for you in the future. And you know I'm here for you, and I'm sure everybody here is here to support you and make sure that you stay on track to do 20K, 30K in a month. But I'm going to get out of here for now, guys. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys tomorrow because it is Thursday. Every Thursday we go live at 7:30 p.m. EST for a live Q&A session, so I hope to see all of you then. Nate, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks again. You guys, later.